There's some incredible TV coming out of the UK right now. Brits just do it differently. The accents, the wit, the scenery, the devastating one-liners disguised as compliments. It's all streaming on Britbox. They have the best mysteries, dramas, comedies, and seriously addicting originals like Outrageous, based on the true story of the Mitford sisters. They were kind of like the Kardashians of the 1930s, wealthy, audacious, chaotic, wildly opinionated, and always making headlines. And chances are you've never heard their story. It's stunning. It's jaw-dropping. It's very British. So check out Outrageous. It could be your next favorite. Don't miss Outrageous, streaming now only on Britbox.
Guys, welcome back to In the Mind of Jax Taylor. How's everybody doing? It's been a crazy week. Happy July 1st. It's my birthday month. We're not going to tell you how old I am. Actually, I don't care. I'm 46 years old. I'm going to be 46 years old. Also, we got Lori here today. She's going to chime in when she wants to. Say hi.
Hi.
We're going to go back to the Ask Jax questions just because I get so many of these, and I just kind of I got to clarify a few things too. You know, I feel like there's a lot of people out there creating their own narrative nowadays, and some of it's just some people are just really mean. I can take a lot of it. I have thick skin, but you know, some of you guys just got to relax. But also, I just mainly want to clear up a few things that were being said on the show and on different blogs. So we're going to get into it. And clear up a few things. And, yeah, I'm excited to be here this week. Excited to have Lori here. So let's get into it because we got a lot to talk about.
Are you excited for your birthday? Because I always feel like it's the start of a new year, like starting fresh.
I want to start the year off fresh. Yes, obviously there's a few things in my brain that are kind of giving me a little bit of anxiety. But for the most part, yeah, I'm happy to turn 46. You know, it's another year older. It's not a great big milestone birthday or anything, but you know what? I just want to get out of 45. Not because of my 45th birthday wasn't great. It's just been, like you said, a very, very, very rough year for everybody. But particular, it was a rough year for myself.
I feel like since 2020, like every single year has just been
ever since
terrible,
COVID.
right? And that was 2020.
Yeah. The highlight obviously was my son being born, but other than that, I mean, it's just been a very, very, very tough year. Well, multiple years, but it's okay. It's, you know, it's God giving you tests and seeing what you can work through and how much you can take and, you know, and seeing if I can get through this, and it'll be all right. It'll be all right.
But I think it's important that you also say, and I know that you do say this often, but we're going to say it, it's a hard year because of your actions, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes, it's a hard year because of how I responded to some certain things. And again, it's just, I mean, we've gotten into this every week after week after week, and it's really, really upsetting. Anyway, so yeah, let's get going. So happy July 1st, everybody. We're officially into summer. We got 4th of July weekend coming up. I'm super excited about that. I get to go see my sister. My little guy is with his mom in Kentucky right now. So, yeah, let's get into it. Okay. So, on the last podcast episode, you said you took a Xanax and a beer. How was that sober? I took a Xanax and a beer before I got sober. Okay, let's make that very clear. This was before I got sober. I was stranded. I was stranded at what's the place in Burbank that it's really popular? Portos. Oh. I was stranded at Portos, and yeah, like I said, this was before I got sober, and I just couldn't leave my seat, and I didn't know what to do. And this was my second panic attack, but this was a very, very intense one, and I've never had one before, and I didn't know how to handle it. I had to have somebody come and pick me up, like I said before. Then I called my friend, obviously Tom Schwartz, and he told me, he's like, the best way to get out of that is to have a beer and a Xanax.
Well, that's a ridiculous.
It is.
That's just ridiculous.
It is, but I took half. I'm very kind of scared of pills, and I don't really ever take Xanax. So I took half of a Xanax and a sip of beer, and it calmed him down. I do not drink beer. I am not a beer drinker. I've never been a big beer drinker. I'm not a beer drinker at all. Very, very rarely, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I'll like a cold, crisp Corona on the beach. But other than that, I've never been a beer drinker. So, Yeah, but it really worked. Calmed me right down.
So can we give everybody the timeline?
I know. I feel like people don't understand. You have to understand that the show was shot a year ago, maybe a year and change, okay? So when you guys are adding up things, I went to rehab twice. So you guys all have to understand that as well. So when you're trying to add up the timelines, because I know a lot of you people have way too much time on your hands, and you like to just dive into things and be like, this doesn't make sense. You have to understand the timelines, okay?
Yeah. So here, I'll say the timeline once and for all. I think people don't realize because your second stint in rehab was not filmed.
Correct.
Right? So it's confusing. They're watching the first time. So the first time that Jax went into a facility was July 24th, 2024. So it was essentially almost a year ago, last summer. You were there for 30 days. You stayed the entire time. And then on November 28th, which was just around Thanksgiving, you entered the facility for the second time for 17 days.
Correct. So when your people say, no, he hasn't changed, or no, he hasn't changed. Also, too, I don't want to say I've been in hiding, but I haven't been around the cast in really a long, long time. I've been kind of doing some self-reflecting and just staying to myself and concentrating on my kid. So I've kind of just been, I don't want to say in hiding, but just kind of taking care of myself. So it's not really fair for people to ask, well, how is he doing? No one's really seen me. The only person that really, I guess, can see me consistently is Tom. And I know he said, I haven't changed. I think he meant to say he doesn't know if I've changed with Brittany because he hasn't seen me with Brittany. But as far as him and I seeing each other, he's always said, man, you're so much calmer. You're so much more like alert. And he always just gives me a lot of props of how, I've been handling all this because it is a lot. It is a lot to deal with. So, no, just to be fair, like I really haven't been around very much. And I think that's just the way I wanted to go about this. I needed a break. I needed a mental break from the cast, and I needed to kind of shift gears and focus on other things. So I'm not mad when people say, hey, do you think he's changed? Because I haven't been around anybody. So how would anybody know? The majority of my life, I've been dealing with my mental health by masking it with drugs and alcohol. Now I'm going through all this. Like I didn't even deal with my dad's death sober. I was really fucked up during that time. I was on a lot of drugs during that time. So you have to understand, I'm going back now and dealing with all of this stuff that I've been going through in my personal life with my mother, with my family, with my father, with arguments I've had with my friends, raw. That is extremely hard to do on nothing. Don't get me wrong. I do, smoke a little marijuana in the evenings from time to time, but that just, keeps me calm at night, makes me sleep. But dealing with life not on really any, as far as my bipolar medication, on anything, and the bipolar medication kind of makes you leveled out a little bit, controls my anger. And like I said, just the anger comes from, I've tried to dissect where the anger comes from. And I think I'm angry mainly about a lot. It's just because, I didn't deal with my dad's death very well. And I didn't really process it too much because we were filming at the time. And I just kind of I was so busy that I didn't have time to really grieve. I didn't really have time to get upset. I remember going to my dad's funeral, and I was sitting in the back of the funeral home in the corner by myself, and my sister's at the casket, and she's crying her eyes out, and she's looking at me, and she's like, how are you not emotional? How are you not? I'm just like, it just didn't hit me. It didn't hit me. I just couldn't cry. I don't know what it was. My sister's bawling her eyes out, and it was just literally her and I in the funeral home, and nobody else was in the room. And it was quiet. It was cold. I literally sat in the back of the room in the corner, like in the fetal position, because I just didn't know how to act. And my sister's just crying her eyes out, and I'm just like, okay, I got to get back to work. And I literally went back to work, and I just didn't deal with it. And my sister, doesn't have the type of job that I do, so she kind of got to grieve a little bit. She was home. She was in it, And I think I have a lot of hurt with that. I have a lot of hurt with how I ended things with my mother, how things went with my mother. You said yesterday,
And
technically, I lost both parents.
Right. You said that to me yesterday, and I felt that. I mean,
imagine losing both parents at once. Did I lose my mother? Did she pass away? No. But I lost her because I haven't spoken to my mom really on a good conversation since my father's death. So imagine losing both parents at once, and then
which I can imagine it's probably even harder to have to kind of mourn the existence of a parent while they're still alive. It's probably harder.
It's very, very hard. And I have to go back and figure out where all this anger came from. And then what fuels anger is what? Alcohol and cocaine. That I can't tell you how much that fueled my anger. It just made it worse and worse and worse. And I just had a very, very short temper. I still do, but I'm working on it. Are you still sober, and what level of sobriety? I don't really know what level of sobriety I'm on. All I know is I don't drink and I don't do cocaine anymore, period. And people are asking, are you having a hard time with it? You know what? I haven't had a hard time with it. I have zero interest in drinking. I have zero interest in doing drugs. I don't know why. It just doesn't faze me anymore. It's just like, okay, I'm done. And I walked away. Now, will I have time maybe in the year or 2 or 3 years? Maybe. But right now, I don't have a problem with it. I have a lot of problems with other things. But drinking and drugs right now is just, it's surprisingly like, I don't crave it. I don't crave a drink. I don't crave, having a bumper at night. I just don't. And I'm it's so weird to me because I can have an addictive personality. And I'm like, gosh, I wish I could have a drink right now. Or I wish I could have this right now.
You have an addictive personality, but you also have like part of your personality, you get fixated on things too.
Fixated.
And so I feel like when you make a decision, you go all in with something.
Very much.
And it could be an amazing quality and it could be a terrible quality, right? Like when you're very passionate about something with your work, like Jax is the type of client that if he will show up the exact time, he will never be late. If he has a project to do, he gives it 100%. Yeah. And I think it's the same thing. Like when you made that decision to not touch alcohol or drugs again, that was it.
I just, and I can be around it. It doesn't bother me. I do have some rules. I give myself some rules. The rules are usually I don't stay more than an hour. If my friends are out drinking, I usually don't stay more than an hour. And the reason I give myself an hour is because usually by an hour, your friends are usually on their second, third drink. And that's when I start to get annoyed. It's not so much like I can't be around the alcohol, but when people have been hitting their third drinks, it's very, very annoying to be around those people. They're repeating themselves. They're a little bit on the sloppy side. It just gets uncomfortable, and I just don't want to be around that. So it's like I watch these people, I'm like, God, this must have been me. Like, people just look like they've been drinking, and it just doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't look comfortable. And I'm so into my health and my fitness right now. Like I said, I have an addictive personality, and I turned everything around into my health and my fitness. I've kind of really just, I've been going hard with that. Like I'm living in the gym, and the gym.
We know. And there was actually a question, and I'll just bring it up now because it goes with the whole gym thing. Someone asked, "How much do you lift at the gym?" And I was like, "Wow, Jax is going to love this question."
I'm in there right now. I don't want to say exactly, but I'm around the 300 mark, which for a 46-year-old, that is pretty freaking good. The last time I put up almost that, I was 19. And that's when you're full of everything at 19 years old. You don't need anything. And like I said, the gym has become my new home. I feel like it's a family place for me. I love going there. I love talking to people about health and fitness. It's just kind of like a new way of life. And that's another thing too. When you're dedicated to something like your fitness and health and bodybuilding, I'm just really, really into it. The last thing you want to do is touch drinking alcohol or drugs. Having an addiction to drugs or alcohol in your weightlifting, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
Okay, so next question. On Watch What Happens Live, you said you're 201 days sober. How is that possible? Again, it's going back to the November 27th date. So the November 27th date, when you went into the facility for the second time, that is the day he stopped using any substances.
Yeah, I can't, like I said, I've said this 50 million times. You have to understand the timelines, and you have to understand the show is not shot in real time. I can't stress it enough. So if you're going to do the math, that's what it is.
Okay, what are you choosing to do differently for yourself and more importantly for your son?
For myself, it's basically kind of just, I kind of just getting away from, I got away from the cast a little bit, kind of just dove, again, I'm going back into diving into my mental health and kind of just figuring out where things went wrong and how I can fix them, and just spending as much time, I can with my little boy. I love hanging out with him. Like I said, we hang out a lot. This goes into another question. People are talking about the co-parenting and much times I get to see Cruz. I see Cruz a lot, probably between 2 and 4 times a week. Brittany and I really, there's no full custody thing. I don't know that never happened. So right now, Brittany and I have different schedules. So it's whatever. Hey, can you come and grab him for a couple days, or can I have him for the day? So it's between 2 and 4 times a week I see him. Oh, and then another question, I'm sorry, on top of that is, do I get supervised visits? No, I've never had a supervised visit. I don't know where that came from or why anybody ever said that. And again, Brittany does not have full custody either. So let's make that very, very clear. I don't know why people are talking about that, or why people are starting to create their own narratives for things. It's kind of actually really silly, to be honest. This is an ad by BetterHelp. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress. Guys, I can't talk about this enough. You guys all know that I'm going through a lot right now, and I can't tell you the amount of stress and anxiety that I'm going through personally. I mean, to battle stress, most of us can't wave goodbye to work, but we can start small with a focus on wellness. Things that make me feel better is talking things out, and obviously that means talking to a therapist, and that's where BetterHelp comes in. I've used BetterHelp. It's helped me immensely on what I'm going through with my daily life, what I'm going through with the divorce, what I'm going through with, my sobriety. Picking out a therapist is so stressful in itself. BetterHelp makes it so much easier. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an App Store rating of 4.9 out of 5 based over $1.7 million client reviews. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy, busy life. We're all busy, guys, and I'm telling you, doing it online is so much easier, and it's such a time saver. You can actually get more therapy in because you're saving so much time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/JaxTaylor. That's BetterHelp.com/JaxTaylor. That's BetterHelp.com/JaxTaylor. Okay. This is kind of funny. If the Justice for Jax Twitter page, or is it a joke? To be honest, guys, if you're reading this and you know me as well as you do, I don't talk like that, right? I mean, Lori's looked at the page. She's trying to figure out where it's coming from.
I just want to do a call out. If you're listening to this, whoever is running the Justice for Jax page, we need you on the podcast.
I love you, whoever it is.
No, because did you see the latest one? Did you see the latest one? Oh my God. Hold on. It was hilarious. Hold on. I think I sent it to Ryan in my DM. Let me just look.
Yeah. Can I send you guys some merch? Send you some merch?
Look at this. Look at this.
What's this one? The Shaw Jax Redemption. How does that person know that that's my favorite movie of all time? That is my number one favorite movie of all time, The Shawshank Redemption. Oh my gosh.
So funny.
This is all guys, first of all, I'm not that smart.
It looks exactly like you, and it's so creative.
Can I have that? Can you send that to me? I want to blow that up.
Okay, we need this person on the podcast. So if you could DM myself or Jax.
Yes.
Please do.
Don't DM me. DM Lori or DM In the Mind of Jax Taylor, okay? Because I want to have you on. You seem like a really cool person. I mean, you're like my biggest fan, and I love you. So, to answer your question, no. What was my favorite season of Vanderpump Rules? I mean, I think people would say if it wasn't my wedding, then I'd be kind of, right? But that was a lot of fun. I got to imagine. It was a lot of fun, that wedding episode or episodes, having everybody there and having the cast there, or having the crew, especially the cast and the crew, because the cast and the crew have grown up with me and, have lived my whole life. So it's fun to share it all with them. Other than that, You know what? I don't have a favorite particular season, or what's you asking season? Probably just because we go on the trips. The trips are always so much fun. And I don't know. I'd like to hear from maybe you guys next time I do this Q&A. What do you think like your favorite season was of Jax? What seemed like it was the fun most fun, is that a word? Most fun that I ever had. I had fun on every season. It was a good time. How is co-parenting going? Why does Brittany always talk negatively about you in public, and we rarely never hear you say anything about her? Co-parenting right now is going as good as it can be. Could it be better? Sure. Could it be worse? Absolutely. But it's going, I can't complain about it. I think it's going pretty well. What do you think? I mean, Lori, you're involved in both of our lives. I think over time it will get better, but it's as good as it can be right now.
I think it's day by day, and it really comes down to you, honestly, and, how you continue to handle things and staying calm and working on your mental health and everything.
Okay. So, and then why this is a great question. Why does Brittany always talk negatively about you? Well, I mean, she's obviously hurt. She's scorned. She's bitter about everything that's going on. And I totally understand that. But, I just don't think there's any positives of going public talking negatively about my partner when I was married. I just don't see any pros to do. What does that do? It doesn't really do anything. Does she have things that I could talk about? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you know what? We have a son, and I just don't think talking negatively about his mother and the stuff that she's done, I just don't see a pro. I don't see a positive of that. Like, what does it do? It just puts things out there, and what people are just going to argue it. Like, people are going to have their thoughts regardless. And I think people are smart. I think people know what's going on. I think people can read between the lines. I don't think I have to say certain things. I think people can. Some of you guys get it. Some of you read between the lines. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. But I will never, ever – Brittany can say the worst things she can about me, and she has, but I will never, ever speak negatively about her. I just – like I said, she's the mother of my child, and I just don't see a positive for doing something like that. Have you ever looked at Reddit? I have never once, not once, looked at Reddit unless Lori has sent me something, says here, I don't even know how to get on Reddit. I don't have the app. I think Reddit is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's the people that have zero lives. I think they sit behind.
I mean, we're giving them a hard shout out right now, but
yeah, but
they actually a moderator for two of the biggest pages for Vanderpump and Valley actually reached out wanting you to come do an AMA with them, and I wrote them back a pretty. I told you about it.
I've done Reddit interviews in New York. You did
it like way back when, but they very recently reached out, which I told you about.
There's nothing I can say that's going to be positive right now. No matter what I say to these people, they're going to have some kind of clap back at me. So I don't really see a reason.
I responded back really truthfully, and I did say that maybe. And we've talked about this, Jack, so you know what I responded, but I'll tell the listeners, and I'm sure this is going to get picked up on Reddit.
Sure.
But I said, maybe at some point when things are just not as toxic, because I think things on Reddit are taken to a completely different level. I understand being so angry with Jax. I understand
how can you be so angry at somebody you don't know? How does people just spend the time and get on
Jax, they're watching the episodes. They 100% have reason to be very angry at you, and but again, it's not just you, right? It's the body shaming of Britney and talking about Cruz, and it's so below the belt.
People body shaming and talking about my son. The stuff that they do say about Brittany is awful, and I just can't believe. The stuff they say about me is awful. But then talking about my son as well and the bullying, like, what is wrong with you people? Like, you have that much time in your day to go and bully somebody that you watched on TV. Like, that is a serious issue.
It's just, I understand that it's a forum to have conversation.
Sure.
And that's fine, right? But the conversations need to be monitored in a way where it's not so detrimental to people and their mental health, because some of the things that are said there are just so horrible. And some of it, listen, some of the information they put out is accurate, but other things are completely made up. And I don't know, it's not right. And I know people think that I got that blocked by Jack's page taken down. Have I reported certain things in it? Absolutely. Was I ever in communication with anybody to have it completely removed? No. I was just as shocked when I saw it taken down. Could it have been from some of my reporting? Maybe. If it was, I'm glad.
I think that people are so mean nowadays. And like I said, I've repeated this before. It's not just Vanderpump Rules. It's not just The Valley. It's all reality shows. The fact that Ariana, like I said, repeated last week, that had to go in to do a disclaimer. They're making it a big deal that I think the show's had to do it a couple times now, to where like people are being just ridiculously mean over a TV show that you're watching that's supposed to be entertainment. Like, if you don't like these people, don't fucking watch. I don't understand how more I can say.
It's just
like, why would you go out of your way to?
We're not living in the same culture as we were even 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's just completely on a different level. And I say this to you all the time. I don't know how you do it.
And here's the thing too. Yes, do I put myself in position? Do I want to be on? No one's putting a gun to my head to be on reality TV. No, not. But people don't need this kind of abuse. It's awful. It's a job just like anything else.
These communities end up being a forum of people that bond over the vitriol, which is such a Tom Schwartz word, but like the amount of hate. They say the worst possible things, even about your sister, who is legitimately the nicest, kindest, sweetest person in the world.
I don't understand it. And I could go on and on about it. But anyway, here's the next one. Do you regret getting veneers? Absolutely not. I don't know who would regret getting veneers. Actually, there's some people who regret it. Some people asking these chiclets and stuff I've been seeing on that's been trending on Reels and stuff. No, I don't. I have a great doctor, Dr. Tyler Henry, located in Orange County. If you guys ever want to go see him, let me know. But he's been amazing to me, and I love my teeth. Why wouldn't I? If you can go back in time and fix one mistake you made, and why, and what would it be and why? I mean, it's pretty simple right now. The way I handled the situation with Brittany and I separating, I've said this before. I was very, very angry, and I had every right to be angry. It's just the way I handled it. I went off the deep end, and I'm not, trying to put blame on drugs and alcohol, but drugs and alcohol played a huge role. It played a huge role in my anger. I feel like if I was where I am today and now dealing with this now, I would have handled this completely different. And I go back and I'm like, damn it, if I was just in the frame of mind, the sound frame of mind that I'm in now, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened. It would have been such a calmer experience in my eyes, don't you think? I think I handled myself a lot different. I look back, I'm like, why was I so angry about the Julian thing? Why was I so angry about this? like, I pushed her away. And like, what was she supposed to do? And at the end of the day, it's like, who cares? Why be so angry about that? There's more things to be angry about. And I just so mad at myself how angry. I just should have said, you know what? I get what you did. The marriage wasn't working out. It hasn't been working out for a long time. I think it's time to end things. That's how it should have been ended. And we should have walked away. She was still talking to him. And we had, like I said, I was leaving for Detroit. Actually, last 4th of July, I was leaving for Detroit, and that's when I came home, and she said she was going to come home to the house, and she was going to stop talking to him, which she didn't. And that's when I blew up. Am I blaming her? No, I'm not getting into that anymore, but it's the way I handled it, and I just wish I could have gone back and been like, well, you had to do what you had to do, and now I have to do what I have to do. It's time to end the marriage. That's how it should have happened. Just like that. And then I should have went to therapy right after I ended that marriage to make sure that I don't go down a rabbit hole. I should have went to therapy the next fucking day. That's what I should have done. And I didn't do that. But, anybody out there listening to this, therapy. I talk about it all the time. BetterHelp. I've done ads for this company. Do whatever you can to get help, because don't go down the hole that I did. Do not do it. It's detrimental to your mental health. It's detrimental to your family. It's detrimental to your partner. Nobody deserves that kind of treatment. So how could you have bugged the house to park to Brittany? What?
Or how can you?
Okay, first of all, people are saying I bugged the house. First of all, Brittany and I bought that house 7 years ago. When we bought that house, cameras were already in the house, okay? We've looked at the cameras on each other multiple times. Okay, multiple times. In fact, Brittany was out of town 3 weeks ago. Okay, 3 weeks ago she was out of town. She called me and she goes, Jax, can you please put the dog dish and the the dog dish and the cat food back in the normal spot? How did she know that? Because she was looking at me on the cameras. Do I care? No, I don't care. So I wasn't spying on her. I wasn't bugging. We have no audio on our house. I'm going to make this very clear. There are no audio cameras in our house. We simply have 2 cameras, one facing the kitchen and a couple facing outside. That is all. Did I look at them? Absolutely. Well, she looks at them all the time too. It's not a big deal. I don't know why they're making it such a big deal. Probably because the fact I was looking at them while I was in rehab. Yes. But we've had cameras in our house since we moved in. We've looked at our cameras, both of us.
Yeah, you both look at the cameras all the time. But I think when you were in the facility, it was the way that you were saying things like, I see what you're wearing. You were saying it in a threatening way. I'm
going to be honest here. I was looking at the cameras, and I saw people at the house. I saw drinking going on, and it triggered me. At what age do you think you'll grow up and stop blaming all your shit on everyone else? I have never once blamed anything on anybody else. Never once.
46, it's next week, your birthday.
Everything that I've done, and I've said this before, even over the years of Vanderpump Rules, okay? Everything that I've done to myself. Not one person has ever done anything to me, and I've said this multiple times. I don't blame anybody for anything.
Actually, I think you're right.
I've never blamed one person.
The word isn't blame, right? I don't think that this person meant blame.
Okay, now here's the thing. Do I get angry when other people aren't called out for what they've done? Yes. Especially when they've done exactly what I've done, or if not worse. I feel like sometimes automatically the blame goes to me. Then yes, I get a little triggered by that. But no one's ever done anything to me, Jax Taylor. Nobody ever on reality TV. Everything that I've done, I've caused myself. I don't make that very, very clear. I've never blamed anyone for anything. The only time I get mad, like I said, is like, fuck, like, look what they've done. And I got to worry. That's one thing is like, I got to worry about myself. I just get triggered when so-and-so did the exact same thing and they're thriving. And I'm like, why did I get the heat and why didn't he? Sometimes that bothers me.
Yeah.
If you could be on any other reality show, what would it be?
You need to be on like some competition show.
I love competition shows, but then again, like I thought House of Villains was a competition show, and it wasn't my type of competition show. That show was more like chess, and like.
Do you think you could do a Survivor or like a Naked and Afraid or Alive?
Come on, Laura, you know me. Am I going out? I'm not going out in the wilderness with mosquitoes. Like, I'm not. I'm not going to sleep underneath the stars. I want to be in a hotel.
I don't even know why I asked that question because you actually have to know how to like build things, and can you even screw in a light bulb?
I could screw in a light bulb. I got your basic necessities down, but I'm not. Even my sister and I, we used to go camping with our family all the time. I slept in the van. I wanted hard sides. I wasn't tenting. I wasn't sleeping on the ground. I just don't like it. It's not that I'm like, oh my God, I'm manly. I'm manly. I just don't want to sleep on the ground and feel wet. I don't like that feeling. I don't like bugs. I want to sleep at night. I don't want to be uncomfortable. I'm not interested in sleeping around 50 other people that I don't know. Okay, I don't like that. Who does? You're putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation.
A lot of people love that.
And that's why you win X amount of dollars.
They don't even win. Like when you're on, I don't know, my kids love watching Naked and Afraid. And
it doesn't, yes, they do. They always take some money.
No, it's the honor and that it's the badge of honor of them making it a certain period of time. No, and I'm just like,
that's not how we do it in the celebrity ones. Like when they do like the full celebrity shows, like the Traitors or the House of Villains, we all get paid regardless. I hope people know that. Everybody gets paid because they're not doing it. No one's going to do it if you don't get some kind of money. I'm not going to sleep in a room with 5 freaking people and eat once a day and be around mosquitoes and stuff for nothing.
I just can't believe you only made it for one episode for House of Villains.
Well, no, I made it on multiple episodes. I made it through one challenge. That's it. I only got done with one challenge. But I was on for like 5 episodes because I came back.
Oh,
and I was part of the judging.
Right.
And I was there for, I want to say I was there for 5 days. Don't quote me on that.
Could we get New York on the podcast?
She's was she
the one that said you're a demon or something?
Yeah, but she plays the game.
Were you shocked?
Yeah, I was.
Try to get her on the podcast.
She's been doing every season of House of Villains. Like she literally just keeps going back and back and back. She's the only one that stays on it. It's insane. How often do I see Cruz? I think I told you guys that between 2 and 4 times a week. We don't really have a set schedule with that. Would you ever write a book? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And will I write a book? Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yes. And I don't know when that day comes. I don't know who's going to be part of it. I don't know what's going to be in it. But yes, I think people need to hear what's in my mind from what's happened in the last, 15 to 20 years. Whenever I'm done with all this crap. Many people I want to blow out of the water. There's so many people. When I say blow out of the water, I mean cast. I just want to, make things clear. Whether you believe it or not, I've taken a lot of things to the grave, but I think some things are resurfacing. I think they will. I don't know. Does your fear of what others think about you prevent you from telling the truth? What do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think that when you don't tell the truth, hold on, you're about to interrupt me. I think when you don't tell the truth, it's because right away you don't want to admit to certain things. And I know that you always say, and Jax will say this to me 100 times a week, and I'm not exaggerating, 100. Like, I don't lie. I tell little white lies. Don't ask if you don't want to know. I don't have to tell everything, and everybody lies.
Every single person on reality TV, especially our show, lies. Everyone. And this will be in my book about all the damn lies that are being told. Are you in control of your ex's social media platform, or is your publicist? I'm barely in control of my platforms, to be honest.
You have full control of
I'm barely
Twitter.
on it, though. Oh, Twitter. Yeah.
I don't have access to Twitter.
I forget about Twitter. I will post before I got off of it, maybe once a month, I will post an inspiring quote. But as far as going to war like I used to, no, I don't.
Yeah, you've really talk about progress. That's where you progress.
And it stopped.
You don't do that anymore.
It stopped when Twitter made the change to X. That's when it stopped, or whatever it is now. What's it called?
X.
Twitter X or whatever. Yeah. That's when I stopped kind of being on there. I look at it from time to time. Oh, another big one too is talking about the heart attack / what happened on the show. I never once said I had a heart attack. All right, I'm going to clear this up. My blood pressure was high. My blood pressure was high during this whole thing, and you guys know that because I had such anxiety what was going on. What happened was I get my blood pressure taken every morning while I take my medication. Every morning. My blood pressure was high. Now, by law, when it gets to a certain level, they have to take you to the hospital. That's just the law. That's just, what they have to do. My blood pressure was high. They said, Jax, we're going to take you to the doctors because it's high. Go wait in the waiting room. We'll call you back in when we're ready to go. Okay, 10 minutes goes by, right? You're like, hey, do you want to test you again just to make sure maybe it went down? Okay, sure. Meanwhile, we told everybody that I was going to the hospital, right? We told everybody I was going to the hospital for this. I did.
You did.
Yeah. But the reason I said that, the reason I didn't call Brittany back is because, and I said this before, I wanted to see if she actually cared about me. I wanted to see if it was just it went for everybody. I just wanted to see if anybody cared. So that's kind of why I didn't call back and say, okay, I'm not going. I wanted to see if they would check in on me. Is that a shitty thing to do? Yeah, but at the time I was just at the bottom of the barrel and I wanted to see if just anybody cared, to see where I was. Another big one, is Tom Schwartz dating Lala? Absolutely not. I don't know why people are running with this. That would not happen. Lala would eat him to death. There's just no way that happened.
You can't believe anything that's written on Facebook at this point.
You cannot. I don't know how people even believe it. Yeah, how? With AI. It's insane to me. What's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning? I make my bed. It is extremely important to make your bed very first thing in the morning. I get up, make my bed. I go down, I have breakfast, I watch a little TV, I check my emails, come back upstairs, brush my teeth, and I get ready for the day. Oh, here's another one. Did I sleep with Lala at Pride or ever? I have never slept with Lala ever. That's kind of the last question I have on that, but I appreciate you guys. We're going to wrap things up again. I love doing these questions, guys. Keep bringing them to me, and we'll do a little bit more, especially with the episodes of the Valley. I like to clear some things up because sometimes things get a little bit miscontrived, or the narrative's a little different. Miscontrived?
No, misconstrued.
Did I just make up a word?
Yes, you did.
Jaxism. Misconstrued. Misconstrued. Okay, guys. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Happy 4th of July. I'm going to Michigan to see my sister. I can't wait. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll get into whatever else is going on in my life or in my head or on the Valley. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.